You are now entering the Luxecore Studios. And you've secured a seat for the Protecting Your Radius podcast. Here, we build connections from your contracting profession to some of the top bleeding edge products and services. Don't get deterred. Let's not delay. Here is your host, Nathan Downs.
Hey, what's up? Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Protecting Your Radius podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Downs. And today's episode, we have Miss Alix Glodich from Wood Defender. She is the chemist, R&D, vice president, manager, director, all things great happening at Wood Defender. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
Pretty nice. And they were one of the big title sponsors last night for the Pickets and Picks kickoff party 2024 for FenceTech. You guys were like the main catalyst for last year's party. You came back this year, brought Mike Ryan, Elijah Steiner, all the fun stuff. But I think, Alix, you also introduced the newest fence mascot. Is that true?
We did.
The fence mascot, the bucket. And actually, we have the bucket here today. Miss Kaylee, bucket, come on up here. Check this out. Look at that.
Adorable.
The bucket from Wood Defender. What booth is the bucket in? 1813. So you got to make sure 1813 has been on your list of places to go. Not only talk to Alix and her team, but to see the bucket, because the bucket is like the thing. It's going to be everywhere, I feel like.
There may be some souvenirs over there, also bucket themed, that you might want to check out.
I like it. Alix, so we don't get to talk often enough. You're the brains of all things Wood Defender. It feels like every time I talk to Roy, he's like, it's really, really technical information, Nathan. I should get Alix on. So with that being said, the one thing I noticed, and we talked about this last year, but now it is here, it is happening, it has come. This Pro Oil pre-stained product from Alta Forest Products being brought to the marketplace by Master Alco. What can you tell us about this thing? Because I'm seeing, I think pre-stained is like the wave of the future. You know, everything that we do, I think I was looking at the numbers the other day, 96% of the staining that Radius does is pre-stained with Wood Defender products. So we are killing it with pre-stain. Our clients that were watching this, that listen to this stuff, they love it. I mean, they absolutely love it. And it works every time, super consistent, which I love. But the Pro Oil stuff, tell us about that. What does it look like? Which woods should we be expecting? What colors? How did we get here? All that.
So before I get into the Pro Finish, I just want to add that we have an amazing team at Wood Defender of all sorts of people. I've never worked at a company that had so many people that have such a broad technical knowledge. Brent Turner, our president, Mel Turner, the owner, Todd Steen, senior vice president. They know a lot about coding science, and it really does. Yeah. It's so great to have that support behind the technology. And just, I came on with some very, very robust, tried and true products. So, a lot of our stuff that we've been doing in lab has been related just to making sure we have offsets available that, mimics the same performance of our products.
Right.
So getting into the Pro Finish. So this is a project we've been working on with Alta for at least 5 years. And, they really wanted to put out a picket that mimicked the look of the ones that we manufacture at our facility in Texas, up at their mill, because it's really hard logistically to get wood that's pre-stained from over there into different regions of the country.
Sure.
So, they want to significantly expand their capacity. We worked with them to develop a product and a process that would work for their specific conditions up there. And yeah, it's really exciting. It's going to be on Western Red Cedar and Douglas Fir. The three colors, if you stop by the Master Halco booth, you can see them on display. But the three colors they're doing are Oxford Brown, Leatherwood, and Cedar Tone.
Nice.
Available on both woods and different board sizes. So we were up there last week testing it out. Went really well. Even though it was super cold, which is, I thought I was going to die of hypothermia, and took Todd out.
You guys were in Oregon?
Washington.
Washington. Okay, yeah, all the way up in Washington. Yeah, it's a little different than DFW area, Texas. I'm sure. So,
I mean, Alta has like a super, super cool facility, and they have several, but the one we went to was just so high tech, very, very organized. A lot of really, really great people on their team up there that we got to work with directly.
yeah.
So we're really excited for the, project or product to be in stores and available.
Yeah, it's an exciting time because I mean, the reach that Alta has. Like at my company, we exclusively use Alta Western Red products, but there's other products coming out into the market right now that may be using like Japanese cedar, the cypress stuff, and all sorts of different things, and that's fine and dandy. But I mean, the tried and true consistency of Western Red cedar, how it reacts in all of our markets, especially like a Texas or an Oklahoma. And we have so much success with it. Then you add the stain on it to add that preservation, that look, and all the different things that stain brings to the wood. I'm super excited about it because I think it's just going to continue to blow up across the United States now. And like I think you mentioned before we got on here, you were talking a lot about the capacity of what this is going to be able to do, partnering with like an Alta to bring this out, and that's really exciting. So. Every time I see you, we always talk about this VOC thing because I still do understand. I know I'm a dense fence guy. I get it, guys. I've gotten messages about people like, why do you keep asking about this? Because I am so confused often about like if these VOCs are bad, why are they in any product? But then I come to find out they're in all sorts of products. So then I'm like, I hate everything. But then I talk to you and I'm like, well, I shouldn't hate everything because the expectations are. And so I'm just mind boggled still to this day about what do we do with these VOCs and why should I even care as a fence professional is in staining looking to get into staining?
Yeah. No, I mean, it is confusing, and definitely like in the industry, it's been a hot topic, especially in the fencing industry. I started in architectural coatings, and both of my companies were based out of California. So those ones have the strictest VOC requirements. I worked at Den Edwards, which is in South Coast, so they have to comply with South Coast Air Quality Management District, which is so strict, and they have very rigid tests. My school actually developed or helped to develop the method that they currently use in South Coast Air Quality to test VOCs accurately. So that was one of the things one of my professors worked on developing. So VOCs are mainly found in solvents, but that's used to both disperse, like help with our product specifically, just to keep it stable and have a good shelf life. They also really help with penetration, and they help you control the dry time. So if you didn't have any sort of thing that would evaporate from the film, it just wouldn't ever dry. It would just stay wet forever. And if you had stuff that evaporates too slowly, you run the risk of it taking days and days and days to dry if it rains, if it gets humid. So it really does help us control the drying conditions. And as we talked about before, there's different types of VOCs. Like there's some that are worse than others. Benzene is going to be a lot worse than, some other things like odorless mineral spirits that has no benzene in it. Some aliphatic solvents, things that tend to have, the benzene ring in them.
Okay.
We call those arenes. So those ones tend to have an odor, which they, because they're called aromatic compounds. Originally, they were named that, I heard, because they smell more than things that are just like a long chain of carbons.
Okay.
But the safety profile typically is a little bit better for things that are just the long chain rather than having the ring in them.
Gotcha.
So we can always, I don't think we're ever going to, paints need to have evaporation to dry unless you have like a 2K epoxy system or a 2K polyurethane. Actually, polyurethane would still need some sort of solvent or water. So VOC comes just from things that are organic solvents that have a boiling point of less than 250 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
I believe is the cutoff.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to listen to what you said a couple times. I get the gist of it.
So can I add something really quick?
Please.
So so in 1990, the Clean Air Act that federally started to regulate VOCs was passed. But since then, states have enacted even stricter laws.
Okay.
So I just wanted to add that, EPA is.
Yeah. So how does Wood Defender, how does that work with you guys?
Well, we have to be compliant.
Right.
So the EPA limit for our type of products is 550. Our products are all below 200 VOC for our fence stains.
Yep.
I think the concentrates are a little bit higher, but that's because when you dilute them, the VOC will decrease.
Of course, sure.
So, but in the can, it would be higher.
Yeah. Very good.
But we are always compliant. We have a EH&S director, Melanie Ramirez, who's responsible for just making sure that we have compliance. It is a full-time job. About 40% of my job, I would say, is also working on safety and compliance. They're constantly changing the rules. They're changing the reclassifications. We have a very expensive database that we use. We track every single compound,
right?
Every single base compound. So like we talked about benzene, right? If let's say we ordered a solvent that had, 0.1% benzene, we track the specific registry number of every single thing. And as soon as there's a new test done or a change to the regulatory rules, we can update our SDSs real time. Making SDSs is hard. And then OSHA apparently is going to be changing their rules for packaging and SDSs this year.
Geez.
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember when it was MSDS. Now we're on to SDI, right? I mean, this stuff changes all the time. And one thing we never said, Alex, on any of the shows was, you mentioned your school a couple times, but I actually didn't. I remembered because you said it in passing. I don't know when, but you went to Cal Poly. That's genius level school stuff. If you look at if anybody knows anything about Cal Poly or Cal Tech, I mean, these people are super, super smart. You do not get in this school unless you are somebody that has a big old brain. So that matters because it shows that the authority that you've derived in your professional career and what you learned in school and continue to do that. I think that's pretty important for people to understand too. You're not a chemist from a tech school or something like that. I don't even know. Sure, there's no chemistry in tech school, but you know what I'm saying.
Hey, well, people can learn and get better.
Sure.
Just, if someone has curiosity and drive and knows how to do research, it really, people can go to the best schools and not be very good chemists in the field, and people can go to less good schools but be willing to learn and be innovative, and that's so important. One thing though.
Oh, go ahead.
I really like going to Cal Poly because their emphasis was on, their motto is learn by doing. So we got to take a lab with basically every class, got to use real life equipment that a lot of undergraduate universities don't have. And then the master's program I did is specifically for coatings, and it's one of, I think, 3.
Wow.
That you can get an advanced degree in that. So
very cool. Track record right there. So what else is coming from Wood Defender? You guys are working on, I know the pro oil thing is a big deal. We mentioned a couple weeks ago on the podcast that you're reformulating and doing some different things with other ancillary products that you guys have had. Is there anything special going on over at the booth at FenceTech that we're talking about right now?
Well, we are relaunching or officially launching our Easy Clean product.
Easy Clean? Okay.
Yeah. So, and we've had that product for a while. I'm not sure how many years. And we originally developed it as a way for people to clean up the job site when they're done staining, get stuff off the windows, overspray, that sort of thing. So as we were talking about relaunching it, because we're now doing it in a 1 gallon, we noticed a lot of our customers were using it for other applications besides just cleaning their windows when they were done staining. A lot of people were starting to use it to wash their cars and, ATVs and equipment and stuff like that too. Not not the stain track,
Okay.
but or the staining rig, but they were using it for more uses. So
Sure.
I kind of took that as an opportunity just to work on. I really wanted to make sure that we prioritized just if someone's been using it to wash their cars and their boats, like, let's make sure that we have a fully 100% biodegradable product. I chose ingredients that were all on EPA's safer choice chemical list.
Okay.
Still trying to decide whether or not we want to get it officially certified, but we really just wanted to make sure we only had ingredients that were on that, just because if it's going to be going in the waterways and stuff, want it to fully biodegrade, not leave an impact. And just, be less caustic also for if people are using it on their boats and cars, because we didn't originally know that people would use it for that.
So I asked someone else that's used that product before, and there was a question that came up, which I don't know how you can answer this, but we were talking about specifically the difference between like just using like a Dawn and water or that product. Like what would be the difference, and why would you use one or not use one over the other?
So Dawn is just it's not gonna get the residue off your windows and stuff like that. Like it's still like you have to have like some sort of evaporative mechanism, and you have to both pull the stain, the grease, the pigments off, anything else that's on there. Dawn dish soap leaves a lot of residue on things like windows, and it's very, very soapy.
Sure.
And this is going to be a stronger cleaner than something like Dawn for the most part.
Gotcha. Very good. Very good. So definitely check that product out. Continue look. You guys are selling it, like you said, on the website and the gallon now. And whatnot. So
it'll be a lot more convenient.
Yeah. And then we could order that when we order our like buckets of, because we order the 5-gallon buckets all the time and stuff. You guys can throw the gallons of those. So we're excited to try that. Like I said, we don't do a lot in the field, but when we do, it is always a constant fight with my guys. We're like, how are we going to clean this off? We're out there with all sorts of stuff going, That's why when you said you reformulated, I was like, we need to get some of this just so when we have that oddball job where we didn't get to pre-stain it, we can go out there and properly clean stuff up. So
I mean, the windows do, when you stain a fence, like there's always, it seems to be a little bit, and it really does do a good job and not leave a residue. You just rinse it off. And
I don't know how many houses we may have left where there may be residue that I didn't see or something. So that's good. So what else is going on, Alex, with, I know we talked about the Pro Oil. We talked about the Easy. I feel like is there any other aces, like something up your sleeve that you're working on right now that you can tell, or is this all secret stuff? Is there any like additives or any crazy things that we're looking at that, we're adding sawdust to stain or something, or I don't know.
Well, I'm sure some people would like to know what we're looking at, but we spend a lot of time researching trends in the market. I will say, I think the more green we can get things, the better. Just, less of a footprint. I mean, we are still compliant where we need to be. Well, when we have products that can be sold in other states that have stricter rules, like the 200 series.
Right.
But at the same time, there's always an option to, make the product even safer for people to use, increase the incorporation, mixing, stuff like that, looking at ways to do that. And there may be some new products that we're working on as well that hopefully we can be announcing maybe next year at FenceTech or earlier.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting for sure. So, Alex, we're going to wrap this thing up, put a bow on it. Is there any other techie stuff that I didn't ask you that you want to throw out there today? Because
I had some
I went to the techie side of the.
I just want to emphasize just being, careful of, I've seen some things that are, being advertised that, is concerning. So I just want to emphasize that, it really does take a lot of people on your team monitoring this stuff and tracking it and being familiar with the materials. And we do a lot of work on testing. We send stuff to outside labs to get stuff tested. We'll send our raw materials even to get tested and make sure that they are what they say they are. It's so important to be, it's on me and it's on Melanie, just as the knowledge base about the chemistry. She was actually a chemist with me at Kelly Moore.
Okay.
So she's very, very intelligent. And you really have to have people that are constantly keeping an eye on it and tracking it and making sure, because we have to be good stewards. Like, I don't want to, worry about someone getting hurt because of the product we put out. So we
Absolutely.
are always erring on the side of caution and whatever ways we can make things safer.
I love that, Alex. I think that's so important. I mean, that puts, like, me as a small business owner, that really puts me at ease knowing that we use Wood Defender products exclusively for our coatings, that we don't have to worry about those things, that you have a team that's dedicated and addressing just specifically that and staying on top of it. And it's not that other people don't do it, it's just that you guys do it to a level and set, like, you're setting the tone, you're setting the pace for the entire industry on that end. And I know I personally appreciate that, but I know everybody that uses Wood Defender products loves that about you guys. And the fact that you guys are always available, always looking to help each and every one of us contractors out there, working with the distributors, whatever it takes to get the right information out and stuff. So I appreciate that from you for that. So yeah, guys, that's it. You got to hit up Wood Defender. You got to check out what Alex and her team have been working on. We're excited to see the Pro Oil stuff coming out from Alta Forest Products exclusively for the most. Is that exclusively at Master Alco on the Alta stuff?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but we'll pretend it is for right now because Master Alco is paying for a lot of this with a big sponsorship. So we'll figure that out down the road. But check all those products out. We're excited for Wood Defender and what's going on. Maybe we can see some new colors coming out, like a
Do you want a new
blues
color?
and greens.
Oh,
I don't know. I feel like that's like the next step of like staining. It's going to be like weird, like pinks and stuff or something.
Well, fun fact, if we're going to get techie, blue is actually the most color sensitive pigment.
Really?
Yeah. So like when we test, like in architectural coatings, we usually always do a blue because that's going to be the fastest to fade.
Interesting.
It's
I
the-
found when we were doing powder coating that silver was almost impossible to get right. Right?
It's
See,
hard.
It's super hard.
Yeah, it's
If
really
y'all
hard to
ain't ever powder
disperse.
coated in silver or painted, like stained something and stuff, good luck. Try it. It's a lot of fun. No, it's not.
Our
But
chemist that currently works at Wood Defender in the lab, she actually worked at Sherwin-Williams before doing color for paint like that. Like she did a lot of cool stuff like the prismatic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Are we prismatic stains coming?
I wish. I'm trying to get a glitter stain, but
Glitter stain.
our sales team doesn't think that's a very good idea.
Yeah,
but
Roy. I want to see Roy Branch rolling around selling glitter stain.
we have
I'm
a
like,
supplier
oh.
that keeps coming in and he keeps saying like, hey, we have glitters, just letting you know.
Oh my gosh.
They're
That
such
actually
a
would be
mess, though. They're
Yeah,
such
that'd
a
be a mess.
mess. Like in the factory, everywhere. It's just,
My kids would probably love that. My daughter would think it's hilarious. I'd come home and I'd be like, I'd like want to go spray and like all my clothes are covered in glitter or something. She'd think that's funny, wouldn't she, Ava? So, anyways, well, Alex, as always, pleasure to have you on. Hey, like I said, wooddefender.com for all your stain needs today, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Later.
bye.
You've been listening to the Protecting Your Radius podcast from the Luxecore Studios in Bixby, Oklahoma. Thanks for sticking around and connect with us and all of our partners at www.protectingyourradius.com. We want to thank our premier partners, Luxecore, the newest line of premium quality composite infill to slide into your FenceTrac fence system. Frame your style today. Also, FenceTrac, the world's first patented standalone stain machine. Utilizing flood coat technology, FenceTrac covers boards, pickets, posts, and any type of dimensional wood you can think of. And what better way to use your FenceTrac machine than to use the easy application Wood Defender family of stains. Wood Defender goes on easy and covers in one coat with no backbrushing. And of course, the true power of our show is you, the listener. Please rate and review our show on whatever platform you consume this content. Your 5-star likes and reviews help other contractors get the message that we all want to be better and do better. And in the construction world, we can never forget that before you can be great, you've got to be good. Before you can be good, you've got to be bad. But before you can even be bad, you've got to try.